I do want to pivot back to basketball. I got that. I said what I needed to say. I got that off my chest. Nick Smith tonight had 24 points on 23 shots. He is now averaging 25 points over his last 2 games, and it seems like he has finally kicked into gear. With him back, Jeff, I know that they lost, but how good do you feel about what this Arkansas team is right now and where they can be in a couple of weeks?
I mean, listen, if Nick Smith keeps getting more efficient, he was last game, but it was against Georgia, so I'm not sure how much stock I put in it. But to have this team go into Alabama, and it was the right time. Let's face it, playing Alabama today at Coleman was the right time to get him. And Nick Smith, for those that don't know, Nick Smith and Brandon Miller played together on an AU team, so there was a little bit of a rivalry there. They're friendly. I remember talking to both of them earlier this year. They're still pretty close. But yeah, I think their upside is, can they get to a Final Four? I don't know if they can go that far, but I think they're definitely a second weekendish team that, depending on if they can get Nick Smith, Devo Davis, and Council going at the same time, which they were today, they're beating most teams. They're beating most teams if they do that.
Smith Jr., I kind of took a close eye on him because he was one of the players I really wanted to watch. And, because he hasn't played a lot, he's making early season mistakes that freshmen now aren't making, whether it's kind of forcing certain things, taking bad shots. At the end of the game, he kind of saved them per se from they had a chance, but they were not the just cream of the crop best shots. He was forcing things. He got to the rim a lot and kind of flailed a little bit. So Arkansas looked like a team to me that they haven't grown or learned from early in the season. And now they're all coming together. And those mistakes, because if Arkansas doesn't make a few mistakes and bad shots down the stretch, turnovers, they're right there in the mix for that game. So Alabama had to put up almost 60 points to beat them in the second half. So I think they have a high ceiling per se, but I don't think they get far in March. They make too many mental mistakes. I didn't like their IQ. Nick Smith's kind of playing to win, but he's also playing for his stock as well. So it's an interesting balance that he's going to have to figure out.
See, I think if he was playing for his stock, he wouldn't have come back.
Yeah. I get it. I mean, maybe so, maybe not. I mean, who knows who's in his ear. But today I felt like Nick Smith was trying to just, hey, look, I'm in my bag. I'm good. You know what I'm saying? That's how I felt he was playing today. Brandon Miller, defensively, he was reaching a little bit when, come on, this is your old teammate. You know if you can rip this guy, you know what I'm saying? So I'm interested to see how he improves over the next couple of weeks, but yeah, he's probably got 2-3 games left and he'll be a top 5 pick, man. So
I'm in on them. I'm in on them. I don't know about I'm all the way in on Arkansas. And I know they didn't win today, but the reason why is this. Muss always does this, right? He always lulls us to sleep and always convinces us that they aren't good. They play like shit in January and they find a way to turn it on. Now, I think they're turning it on a little bit later this year because they didn't get Nick Smith back until mid-February. I think it was Valentine's Day that he came back, right? But they have probably 3 guys that are going to get drafted, 2 lottery picks, another 5-star in Jordan Walsh. Devo Davis is still there. The Mitchell twins have kind of figured out how they can be, impactful. Graham is at the Jalen Graham at the 5. Like they got some players, they got some pieces, and Muss knows how to. He's great at identifying mismatches and attacking those mismatches. So I'm going to turn it back to you guys. You got to back one of these teams, okay? You got to put all your chips in right now. Henson, you got to go on to your Bet Rivers account, and you got to bet everything on one of these 2 teams to go farther in March. Arkansas or Kentucky, who beat Auburn by, I think they were up by 40 at one point. I don't even know what the final score was. I probably should have that in front of me and be prepared, but that's not the way that we do things. So, Goodman, Arkansas or Kentucky? You got to bet the mortgage on it.
Oh, boy. Shit. I'll go Arkansas. You know why? What do you think my reason is going to be?
They got studs and guards.
They got the better coach. That's what
Fair enough. Fair enough.
They got the better coach.
It's not a big difference, but I'm gonna go Arkansas as well. I like how they play. I like their backcourt. I like their bigs. They're a little more solid than Kentucky. Kentucky will spin you for a loop. They might lose. They'll spin you for a loop. But I feel like Arkansas is who they are, and was a good point you brought about Musselman in March. He sneaks
He's
around
good.
and all of a sudden it's the Elite Eight. You know,
Yeah.
he's in the Elite Eight. So
Yep.
I like Arkansas.